Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'll be revisiting the HTC 10 flagship from last year. This phone is about to get replaced by the HTC U11, the recently released new flagship phone from HTC for 2017. I have pre-ordered the HTC U11 already guys, so please do stay tuned, and the next few days you will see the phone on my channel and I'll be discussing everything from unboxing to gaming performance, everything else pretty much the same way as we did last year on HTC 10. The HTC 10 recently got the Android Nougat 7.0 update, so I'm here to discuss how is the phone in general ever since the update. I know guys, I'm a bit late to the party. There are plenty of videos out on Android Nougat 7.0 already guys, so I won't be discussing the features as much. I'd rather be emphasizing on performance, battery life, and also in general how do I feel about the phone after nearly 1 year. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly talk about the phone in general and the way I feel about the phone from outside, the bodywork and the metal construction, and in general how do I feel after using this phone for nearly a year. As you can see guys, this phone was made from metal, unlike on the U11 which has got a glass back. I know lots of people out there, they love metal phones, and I am definitely among one of those. I love the metal phones because they're more sturdy. Even if you do end up dropping them, they will dent or crack, but they won't break. Unlike glass phones like the S8 and the U11, once you drop them, they will definitely break. Regardless of whatever Gorilla Glass is being used, eventually glass is fragile and it will break at some point. Whereas metal phones tend to hold their strength for longer and they only dent and crack, like I said. So in general, I feel the phone is very nice. It's survived well. I have to admit, I've been keeping the phone in this case guys. I love TPU see-through gel cases, so most of the time my HTC 10 has been in this gel case. That's why it looks like in a very good shape. I've had no dent, no drop. I'm a very careful guy, so I don't drop phones that easily. As you can see, it comes to wear and tear. The phone is pretty much as it was brand new from day one. You can see here edges and corners, everything is nice. I like the way the phone feels in the hand. No problems in the fingerprint department. The fingerprint works absolutely fine guys. First time, 10 out of 10. It's an always on active fingerprint sensor, so I quite like it, not too bad. It comes with Snapdragon 820 along with 4 gigs of RAM, which to be honest are still very top end specs. The last year flagship phones from Samsung and everybody else had pretty much the same specs as the HTC 10. So when it comes to performance in general, with 4 gigs of RAM, it is pretty nippy, and so far whatever I've used it for, the phone is extremely responsive. HTC Sense is one of my most favorite skins on Android after vanilla Android. It actually matches and sometimes even is more quicker than vanilla Android, which is quite surprising. As years have come across, HTC have had their problems with Sense, but over the last couple of years they really worked hard, and I can see that it's very responsive. They've cut down a lot on the interface, and also in general the performance has been very snappy, and it's more or less like vanilla Android, hence the reason why it is so fast and so fluid and so efficient. Let's quickly have a look at the RAM management. Like I said, I've been using the phone for nearly a year guys, and I've installed quite a few apps, and even though I haven't used the phone all the way along, but I've been using it for quite a number of months in the last 1 year. So let's get into the memory bit and have a look and see what the RAM management is like. As you can see, out of the 3.7 gig RAM, free RAM we have available, it's using at the moment 2.1 gig. So we have over 1.5 gig available as free RAM. This is something which you don't see in a Samsung phone, and also something which you won't see in phones like Exxon 7 from ZTE and others, where the free RAM is not as much as you have on a HTC flagship phone. So once again, thumbs up to HTC for giving us a superb RAM management. The more free RAM we have, the more efficient and the more faster the phone would be, because it will have more resources to play with. You can always allocate free RAM to more apps once the phone starts getting used more and more with time. So in general, I'm very happy the way the HTC 10 is. The performance is top notch, everything opens very quickly, and fingerprint sensor also works superbly without any issues. I like the capacitor buttons here. If they tend to keep it on the HTC 11, I don't mind, it's fine. I know some people hate those capacitive buttons, but I quite like them because they don't occupy the screen and you get more real screen state when you're using your phone. So performance wise, RAM management, no problems guys. 10 out of 10 from my side, no issues whatsoever. Okay, so now let's talk about the cameras on the HTC 10. We have a 12 megapixel camera at the back with optical image stabilization and an f1.8 aperture. At the front we have a 5 megapixel sensor with the same f1.8 aperture, and for the first time in a smartphone we have optical image stabilization. Now there are plenty of samples on my channel, guys. I'll leave the links down below. Please do have a look at the samples, and that will give you an idea what the camera is like. However, we will still talk about the camera in general and see how the camera interface is like, and also what kind of quality do we get if you take a few live photos. So this is your camera interface, guys. As you can see, camera here, so you tap here on the settings, you got photos, you got a timer here, 2-second timer, 5-second timer, 10-second timer. So it's all depends on you if you want to take a photo with a group of people. Okay, here you have 16:9 for 4 megapixels, for 2 megapixels, then it goes to 4:3 if you want to go for a 12 megapixel of full powered photo at the back, 1:1 as well with 9 megapixel should you wish to. So in general, I'm quite happy with the camera. The interface is quite simple and it's quite professional. It used to be a bit more complicated before, but ever since Nougat, things have become more simplified. Then you have panorama mode here, guys. You can use to take panorama photos. Also, you got this video mode here, and then you have the pro mode, which I missed. Pro mode, there you go, guys. You can use the pro mode. In pro mode, you can change the ISO, you can change the shutter speed, whichever you like. I normally don't use the pro mode as much because you want a phone in the end of the day which can take a photo right there and then, but there are obviously photo fanatics out there, and certain times the auto mode does not respond to low light, so you can always, like I said, change your ISO, your shutter speed, and whatever you want. So the options there. Then we have the hyperlapse mode. You can use slow motion mode. I've never used the hyperlapse mode, to be honest, guys, but it's there as I'm very busy reviewing other phones, so I've hardly used this. Maybe I'll use it probably at some point, maybe post a video on Instagram or Twitter, so do keep an eye. A slow motion, we have a slow motion mode in there as well, guys, along with selfie mode, selfie photos. So you go into settings, you got here touch auto exposure off, you can turn this on, grids, shutter speed, camera options. There's plenty of options there. Auto smile catcher for your selfies and video capture, touch to response. You can smile mode. There's plenty in there for you to play with. So all in all, a decent effort from HTC. In terms of camera quality, it's not too bad actually. So let's take a photo now. Even though I've taken quite a few photos, and please do check my Instagram profile. You see plenty of photos from HTC 10. Instagram is down on the description. So let's take a live photo of this Andy the Android and see how the HTC 10 performs without any tweak. So we touch on the screen, there we go, guys, focuses, boom, take a picture. Let's get a bit more closer. There you go, see if it focuses, there we go, just about a bit further back. There you go. Okay, so let's take one from further away. Tap on the screen again, boom, there we go. So let's have a look and see how the quality is like, and make sure that my brightness is full. There you go, guys. So now let's view the photos and see how they're like. As you can see, even though despite having low light, it is doing pretty well, not bad. A bit blurry, you can see, but it's been taken from far away, but like I said, it's low light, so that's why it's not as good. Okay, so further close, you can see here, guys, you can see these small little scratches on Andy the Android. The left eye is gone a bit blurry, right one is okay, but not looking too bad. Like I said, it's low light performance here. You can see this photo is much better than the one before. So all in all, I'm happy with the camera. This is a camera you can live with on a day-to-day basis very easily. I took some photos earlier in the last few weeks as well. So let's quickly go through these photos and show you what the quality is like on the HTC 10. So I was taking the photos of Samsung Galaxy S8 with the new case on. There you go, guys. So decent performance, decent enough performance. This was a video I shot earlier on the S8 a few weeks ago. I was typing on the S8. As you can see, the camera is keeping its focus onto the object and is giving good level of detail in the video, so not looking too bad. Okay, so let's have a look and see a few more photos if we can. I took some selfies as well, guys, so let's have a look. Okay, there we go. And this was a mobile phone I took picture of. There you go, some crazy selfies. I took some from the front facing camera on the HTC 10. As you can see, nice bit of depth and detail. You can see my beard here as well, so it's not looking bad. In good lighting conditions, the selfie camera is really good. The ultra pixel sensor really does its magic, and the optical image stabilization helps getting some very nice, lovely, decent selfies with lots of detail. Despite the camera being only 5 megapixel, I think it's done a pretty good job. As you can see here, another low light photo taken with the HTC 10. This me editing videos on my Apple MacBook Pro. So camera wise, guys, I'm pretty happy with it. It looks nice, it's not too bad, it's more than livable. It's got decent DxO mark rating as well. I think it's above 85 or 86, something like that, but the new U11 has got 90, which is the highest by any phone. So I'm very keen to see how this goes, and how this one, by the way, was taken in my car at night time using the front flash, the whole screen illuminates when you turn the flash option on, and you can see giving you a nice bit of detail. Keeping in mind it's only a 5 megapixel camera, so in a pitch black room it will still produce some nice decent results. This is my setup of the where I shoot on my desk, as you can see, in low light again, and still, despite me having low light, still camera is giving you a decent level of performance. Now this is with the flash, I think, yeah. So nice bit of detail. So in general, I'm happy with the camera. It's not bad, decent camera, and certainly it's something you can live with. At times it struggles in low light, and it has occasionally, not that often, focusing issues, and that's where the S7 Edge and the S8 actually win. I'm very keen to see if they have made improvements on the U11, and we'll see how the camera is like on that phone. So in general, from my side, a thumbs up to camera, no problem. You can certainly live with it for your social media needs, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. This camera is more than capable, both the selfie camera and also at the back camera. Let's talk about the battery life on the HTC 10. This is one area where I'm sure lots of people want to know how the battery life on this phone is after using it for 1 year. The phone, by the way, has got a 3000 mAh battery and a 5.2-inch Quad HD screen. So in my typical way, guys, I'll be showing you some screenshots that I've been taking the last few weeks. So let's get into the gallery and have a look and see what the story has been so far on the HTC 10's battery life. I also took some screenshots for the standby time to see how the standby is on Android Nougat 7.0. As you can see here, on 29th of April at around 11:30, the battery was at 19%, as you can see, guys, here at 19%, and then eventually I checked it the next day at around 5:38 in the morning, and the battery was still at 19%. So after about 5-6 hours, the battery was still intact and didn't even lose 1%. So well done on standby time. In general, the standby time has been very good. Occasionally here and there you will see a few percentages drop. This is definitely among the better ones as compared to what I've seen in other Android phones. Okay, here 3%. I was using the phone pretty heavily. As you can see, camera, Google Plus, WhatsApp. I'm a YouTuber, guys, so I'm always using my phone very heavily. So after a full day of use, as you can see the graph and the lines showing here how heavily I use the phone, I was able to achieve 3 hours and 25 minutes of screen on time. Now this has definitely reduced. Now I remember previously, before Android Nougat, I was getting more battery life, around 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time, but ever since 7.0 I've been getting around 3.5, and I actually did run quite a few tests for a few days to see if maybe there was some row gap or something else draining the battery out, but to my surprise the phone kept on giving me 3.5 hours of screen on time. Again, you can see here down to 5% here, guys, at 21:47 after again fully charging it to 100%, using it again heavily, more Wi-Fi, less 4G. I think in the previous screenshot I did use 4G a lot, so I thought it could be the 4G giving me less screen on time, but here I was using more Wi-Fi, less 4G, and still I was able to get 3 hours and 31 minutes of screen on time. Okay, here standby times again 100%. At just past midnight, as you can see, at 13:46 it was at 92%. So after about 13 to 14 hours it had lost around 8%, which is still not bad, keeping in mind that it only got a 3000 mAh battery. Like I did say to you earlier, standby time sometimes varies. Sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's average, but the good thing is it never drops below average, which is quite nice. Okay, again 217 on 2nd of April, 41% battery at 217, like I said, and then down to 40% at 1050. So I only lost 1% in about 7 to 8 hours, which is again not too bad. Okay, another run down to 4%. Use the camera, Google Play services are always on the back end for some reason, I don't know why. Twitter, I was using Swift key keyboard, that also takes a bit of battery. And in general, I was using the phone more moderately. It wasn't as heavy, that's why I was able to go for more than a day. But still, the screen on time was again 3 hours and 30 minutes. So no matter what I did, the phone kept returning me 3 hours and 30 minutes. Whether it was moderate use, whether it was heavy use, whether it was more 4G, less Wi-Fi, or more Wi-Fi, less 4G. As you can see, again, I was always getting 3 hours and 30 minutes approximately a kind of screen on time. Once more, I can say another run down to 5% and heavy use here again, more Wi-Fi, very less 4G, and still I was getting around 3 hours and 31 minutes of screen on time. The brightness was kept around 70%, guys, throughout my testing. Nothing too strong on the screen, so around 70%, which normally I keep, like I said. So this is the situation on battery life. I hope with Android Nougat 7.1.1 hitting this phone at some point, hopefully the battery life will improve, If it does improve, guys, I'll revisit the phone again and I will show you just the battery life video to see if there's an improvement. If there's no improvement, then most likely you will not hear from me. But hopefully Android O, which is the newer version at the moment in beta testing, hopefully we'll have some improvements in battery life once that hits the HTC 10. So that's pretty much it from me, guys, for now. I've discussed the performance, which is great. Also the camera is nice as well, and the only weakness that we see on the HTC 10 is the battery life. That is significantly dropped down from 4.5 to 5 hours to 3.5 hours of screen on time, and like I said, hopefully will improve. And if it does improve, I'll come back and revisit the HTC 10. So guys, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section, and like always, please subscribe as it helps, and I shall see you in the next video.